Well, it's so good to see you on this Thursday. Thanks for making THV 11 your go-to for the latest afternoon headlines. Today might be the day to get out and enjoy the sun because that was not the case for the past 2 days. That's where we want to bring meteorologist Tracy Breen in on the conversation. Always a pleasure having you at noon. Seems like we kind of dodged a big storm last night, would you say?
We did for sure. We've turned out to have a beautiful day today. Temperatures across the state are in the 70s and the 80s, 82 here in Little Rock, and a few warmer areas down there to our south, 84 in Monticello, a little cooler to our north. And the rest of the day is looking pretty good too. Plenty of sunshine, a few clouds rolling in later today. You may see some spotty scattered showers in the southern portion of the state later tonight, but as quickly as they come in, they'll move right back out. But yes, we did dodge a bullet for sure. And coming up around 12:13, let's look at why Arkansas was spared those explosive severe storms. There's a reason, and you'll be interested. We'll have a little weather learning session as well coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Tracy, we're looking forward to that. Well, backs are against the wall in Hot Springs, where an EF2 tornado touched down earlier this week, toppling trees and turning over homes. THV 11's Michaela Johnson was back there this morning and gives you a closer look at how folks are doing today.
Here on Central Avenue, the damage is evident from that EF2 tornado. Let's go ahead and take a look behind me. There are not one, not two, it looks like at least 6 trees have completely snapped and fallen on this condo near Lake Hamilton. And it's so shocking to see this type of devastation, but more than 100-mile-per-hour winds that just make sense to see something like this. Trees completely uprooted. You can see everything here, and these are large trees. There's tarp on the top of this condo, and you know that people are out working and doing their best to kind of help people clean up as they can, but this is just devastating and shocking to see. And now here's a look at some of the aftermath directly after the tornado passed. Melody Walker is the manager of the trailer home park that you're seeing, and she saw significant damage at her own home. Despite the extensive damage there, the other thing that stood out is community, neighbors checking on neighbors. Melody says after sheltering through the EF2 tornado, she stayed up all Wednesday seeing what happened on her property, but constantly checking in on her residents and her friends.
A bunch of damages. It's like 4 trees, a shed. My chickens are still trapped under some trees in my backyard. We got babies that was screaming last night because they was scared to death, and we just knocked on doors and asked them was they all right.
There's metal shrapnel tossed across Central Avenue, things that weren't there before, but they are there now. There is power along Central Avenue now, and that's something that's changed since the last time we were here, so that's good news to see. We know that people who live here are going to be cleaning up. Crews will be out again today helping people move forward. But for now, in Hot Springs, Michaela Johnson, THV 11 News.
Michaela, thank you. Well, the impact of that very storm system can be felt in northern Arkansas. What you're seeing is damage in Cedarville in Crawford County. The storm took down trees, completely destroying people's property. Even still, residents say crews are taking swift action to clean up.
Probably within an hour after that, I could hear chainsaws out here working all the way up, and they didn't get up past our property until about 11 or 12 in the afternoon.
There's been an overall quick response to restore communities. Even still, there's plenty to be done. Complaints of disgusting sewer problems can be heard in North Little Rock, where residents say it's becoming too much to bear. Tenants at the Timbers at Lakewood Apartments tell us they've been dealing with sewage clog up for weeks and say it's to the point where it's keeping them up at night. After all the rain we got, there's a chance it could get worse. So now one woman says she's trying her best to press the issue.
Have you reached out to management at all?
I have. The first time it started, they said that they were going to send somebody down. Did something, it stopped, but then it started rushing up again. I've emailed them pictures, a video. I've gotten nothing back.
Management has not responded to our team's attempt to reach out, but an advocacy group is hoping to get more attention on this. An afternoon crime alert as police in Faulkner County need your help with finding 2 people who they believe are connected to multiple car break-ins. Authorities are looking for these 2 people you see here on your screen. Police say they were caught using stolen credit cards at the Walmart in Sherwood, and are connecting this to a string of car break-ins last month in Conway, where multiple guns and cards were taken. If you recognize these two, you're urged to call police. And from one wanted list to another, the U.S. Marshals hoping you can help find this man you also see on your screen. Roy Thomas Jr. is from Little Rock and has a history of criminal activity. Officials say he's considered armed and dangerous, so if you see him, they want you to call police. One family in Hot Springs is actively searching for their missing daughter, and they could use your help. 15-year-old Annabelle Rose disappeared Monday night. According to her family, they got in an argument earlier in the week, but they didn't think much of it. Since Annabelle's disappearance, her family found a phone she had been using without their knowledge and discovered she had been talking online with a man.
Unbearable. Tragic. I'm just worried about her safety. I really honestly feel like she's not in town.
I cannot tell you how your brain just kind of goes, you can't believe it, breaks your heart, scares you to death.
Hot Springs Police is working alongside ASP to find Annabelle and hopefully bring her home safe. Well, every day we're tasked with taking steps into the right direction to keep Earth clean, but sometimes it's the things we can't see the most that impact us.
When you think of plastic, this is most likely what comes to mind. But there is another form of plastic that is much smaller and all around us.
I think we tend to forget that the same plastic that we use in a water bottle, that polyester plastic, is the same plastic that's in our clothing.
Katrina Knauer knows a thing or two about plastics. She's been studying plastic pollution for years. Plastics so small they can be woven into clothes.
Somewhere up to 50% of our clothing is going to be polyester based.
And every time you wash those clothes, those tiny fibers inevitably shed into the environment.
We're starting to hear a lot more about microplastics. We're finding microplastics in the food we eat. We're finding them in our own bodies, in our own lungs.
And the fact of the matter is, the long-term health and environmental impacts of these materials is still not known. What we do know is that they last for a really long time. That's where Knauer and a team of scientists at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory and Colorado State University come in. They're working on a bio-based, biodegradable polyester alternative.
If microfibers are going to be shed, if we're going to shed them through washing our clothes or through camping and hiking and other mechanisms, let's make sure that material has a natural relationship itself with our environment.
Instead of lasting indefinitely, Knauer says the biodegradable polyester alternative would last 4 years or less and would be able to break down in freshwater and marine environments. The molecules left over would all be natural.
Our studies have shown that if you combine bio-based feedstock to make materials with high recycling rates, you can get to a net zero emissions economy for plastics. So that's what we're trying to do.
The process is still in the research phase with a lot of work still to be done, but it's work Knauer says will be worth it for our environment, our health, and our climate.
The production, use, and disposal of plastics is one of the highest greenhouse gas emitters on our planet.
Well, something else to keep in mind, new regulations being set by the CDC that will soon put restrictions on bringing dogs into the U.S. Under the new rule, all dogs, even service animals, must appear healthy long before coming into the country. The CDC says they're doing this to prevent rabies. In addition, dogs must be at least 6 months, microchipped, and have a completed dog import form. All this goes into effect later this year on August 1st. There's a nationwide push against social media taking over classrooms. When we return, how Little Rock School District could soon join that fight.
And we've got a beautiful day ahead of us and a beautiful weekend, but we're also going to take a look at why we didn't see so many severe storms yesterday. Coming up right after the break.